Hello and welcome to episode 89 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, a podcast dedicated to the 2021-22 Scottish Cup runners-up, Heart and Midlothian. Joining me to discuss the final, which took place at Hampden Park between the third place Jambos and Rangers, who finished in second, is Mr. Daniel McIver. How are you, McIver?
I'm doing all right. It's been a few days now. I've had 5 days off work. Today was my first day back at time of recording. I've been able to process everything better now, so I feel like I can actually articulate points. But yeah, in the circumstances, doing all right. How are you doing?
I wish I could say the same, to be honest, mate. I'm yet to get back to work, so I've just been spending it all in my bed, just contemplating, life.
Trying.
Yeah, on the verge of tears. Little things will come up, like you'll flick through TikTok. I saw this one today where this guy had taken his granddad who was struggling with dementia and Alzheimer's.
So on Twitter, the Man City, when he starts singing, it's that's it. If people haven't seen that, it's on Twitter. It was on my account.
Tremendous, fantastic watch. And yeah, as soon as he started singing "Hey Jude," I felt like greeting my eyes out. And to be honest, I was also really teary on Saturday. I just thought to myself, yeah, I thought if we're going to score, or just even like prior to the game, I found myself getting really emotional with regards to like the Zaliukas tifo and all this jazz.
I was in the gold letters. I wish I had.
Oh, yeah.
I should have brought it. It's through in the other room.
The flag.
Yeah, I was part of the 26. I think I was looking at it. I'm pretty sure I'm part of the 6. I don't think I'm part of the 2. I'm part of the 6.
But that looked great. And that was probably one of the highlights from a Hearts perspective, to be honest, regarding Saturday. Because for the most part, it was absolute dross. Look, let's just get straight into it, because opening the podcast, we usually kind of nip round the grounds. But seeing as there was only 2 teams involved in Saturday's showpiece, we'll get straight into discussing our third Scottish Cup final in 4 seasons. How shite is it that we found a way to lose, like in every manner? 90 minutes after extra time and on pens.
That's true, actually, yeah.
That was my first thought.
I didn't even think of that.
That was over. I was like how shite is it that we've literally found a way to lose every single time?
But now we've exhausted all the ways to lose. So next time we've guaranteed ourselves a win. It's fine.
Surely, yeah. It has to be coming. No, older Jambos, tell me that this is round the corner, please. But no matter. Look, if we go straight into selection, we'll start with Rangers first of all. Before I get your thoughts on our team, Giovanni van Bronckhorst made 5 changes after the Gers defeat to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League final. John McLaughlin replaced Alan McGregor in goal. Leon Balogun came in at centre half. Stephen Davis and Scott Arfield came into the midfield, and Amad Diallo was one of the duo supporting Joe Aribo up front. Outdropped, like I say, Alan McGregor. Borna Barisic missed it through injury, which meant that Callum Batty moved out to left back. Ryan Jack, who's on the bench, Glenn Kamara, and Scott Wright. I think all those 3 came on in the end. Yeah. So what did you make of the 11 that the Dutchman had opted for, McIver?
Out of the changes, 2 of them I was happy with. 2 of them I was unhappy with, and 3 of them I was happy with. I was really unhappy that McGregor and Barisic came out, because I felt that Rangers were a weaker team with both of them in it. I feel that, obviously, we'll get into it. It was kind of irrelevant who was in goals for Rangers.
Very much so.
But I felt, looking at the McLaughlins personally, now, I don't think over the career, but as in 2022 now, I feel that McLaughlin's a stronger keeper than McGregor. So I was worried about that. And I was gutted Barisic was missing and Liam Balogun came back in, because Liam Balogun's a good football player, and I don't think Barisic is a very good football player. So I was really hoping that Sims could be going up against him. I was happy that Jack and Kamara both went to the bench, because, as I said in our preview, I felt Ryan Jack was going to be one of the most important players. Sadly, I was very much proven right.
Yeah, that's aged like a fine wine, that comment. So thanks for that, mate.
But listen, it looks like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to football. I'll cling on to that aspect.
I know why does that have to be at Hearts' expense though?
I talk shite about Hearts for a year, and then the one time I speak about another side,
and are proven wrong.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, this is nonsense, man.
But yeah, generally, I looked at the Rangers team going, it's going to be a good team. Whoever is played, we're going to have to play very well. And I'll be honest, as soon as I saw our team, the lineup in terms of the personnel, very happy with. Then as soon as I saw the formation, I went, I don't think we've got a chance here.
Well, let's get straight on to the Hearts team then, because I was going to comment on the Rangers team, but now I'm intrigued to hear what you've got to say. That's all right. Look, we're flexible. We can move about accordingly. Because Robbie Nielsen named 3 changes from the team that had faced Rangers the week prior in the Premiership. John Suter and Craig Halkett both returned to the starting lineup in place of Toby Civic and Michael Smith. Nathaniel Atkinson came in for Michael Smith. Mm-hmm. Was it Toby Civic and Taylor Moore dropped out?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. So Hearts lined up as follows. It was Craig Gordon in goal. The back 3 were John Suter, Craig Halkett and Stephen Kingsley. A midfield quartet of Nathaniel Atkinson, Cammy Devlin, Peter Haring and Alex Cochrane, with Barry Mackay, Liam Boyce and Ellis Sims in attack. Talk to me about the formation.
So, as I said, I was really happy with all the personnel changes. I understood the argument that is it wise to play these players who haven't played a lot up until this point in the biggest game. But I think the 4 that everybody was speaking about, Halkett, Suter, Boyce and Devlin, were, in my opinion, our 4 best outfield players on the day when looking at the 90 minutes as a whole, particularly Suter and Halkett, who had barely played at any time and then just came in.
I'm glad you said it, yeah.
And were fantastic.
I feel as though the further forward we went, we probably got, or were less effective.
Yeah,
you looked at the probably the 2 out of that 3 in particular, like you say, Craig Halkett and John Suter in particular, were our best outfield players, 100%.
But the issue I had with formation is what I said in the preview and why I didn't want us to play this formation. I wanted us to play a 4-2-3-1 with Atkinson and Smith on the right-hand side, 1 winger, 1 fullback, respectively. And then on the other side, I wanted Cochrane / probably Kingsley and then Barry Mackay out on the other side, because my worry was that we would get doubled up in the wing-back position. And on the left-hand side, it would be Bassey and Kent. And the right-hand side, it would be a variation of 4 or 5 people, which it ended up being exactly that. And as soon as the game kicked off, I was thinking, we've got no chance here. I turned and within 5 minutes said, this is going to be a battering. Like, even though we started well, I think we did start well, but there was a part of me that was like, this isn't going to last. And every time Rangers got the ball, they never played it through the middle of the park. They got it out wide. And just, as I say, doubled up. In particular,
wasn't it?
Yeah, just doubled up on our fullbacks. And that was apparent from minute 1.
This is the thing for me, because we'd spoken about Rangers selection. There's sort of 2 ways that you could view the Borna Barisic withdrawing. The first is that Calvin Bassey is a better athlete. So at left back, you feel as though he's going to bomb on far more than Borna Barisic probably would. However, with Balogun and Goldson, I felt as though Ellis Sims, I'd be more confident in Ellis Sims getting the better of Balogun / Goldson as opposed to Calvin Bassey on his own. So fair. I think there's 2 sides to every coin, and that proved it. But you're spot on with regards to, you know, the overlapping fullbacks, and Calvin Bassey, I think 1 man of the match, certainly a contender, and probably, yeah, if you're looking at it from a Rangers perspective, in terms of obviously winners, Calvin Bassey is probably your main bet.
I'd agree. I think he was.
I thought his delivery from that left hand side, you know, was constantly causing us problems. As we'll come on to in the chances. But you sort of mentioned it there. We actually started all right. I think the first 10, 15 minutes we were okay.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were quite good. I actually thought we were quite good.
the remaining 105 that we then played afterwards weren't very good. So
I will say something huge happened in the 3rd minute.
And that is Peter Haring getting booked.
Haring should have been sent off.
Oh, wow.
It's a clear red.
I'm just going to let's talk about that then, because I didn't take any notes of this with regards to the highlights. I've not watched it back. Or maybe
on
iPlayer. You're adamant he should have been sent off, yeah.
I was at the other end of the ground and went, that's a red, and couldn't believe it was a booking. And then at half time, the guy in front of me had a replay of it on his phone. It's over the ball, studs into the ankle. The only reason he doesn't get sent off is because Willie Collum goes into the 3rd minute. I don't want to send somebody off because I did that against Motherwell with Hibs, and there was all the controversy.
Oh, well, then in that case, all I'm going to say is that I thought Willie Collum had a bit of a mare in that first half, but it seems as though leniency was a common theme, because it astounds me how James Tavernier took so long to get booked, and I think Calvin Bassey even escaped a booking. So I was thinking to myself, how on earth is that the case, that Haring gets booked after 3 minutes, yet those two fullbacks have avoided one?
I think he had to go like, I need to give him a card for this. I should give him a red.
But I'm not give a yellow because it's early doors.
Yeah. I saw 2 referees were calling for him to retire this week.
Oh, that's always a great indication.
Yeah, they said that his fitness levels were nowhere near up to it, and that he made big calls wrong.
Mike Dean's packed it in down south. Willie, just, take a break. Come on. Take a break with no intention of getting back into it.
Yes, exactly. Generally, apart from that Haring challenge, which I thought was immediately going to ruin everything, I did think we started the better side.
And we would have the first big chance of the match. Let's just be honest. It's our only major one in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Craig Gordon launches long to Ellis Sims, who nods on to Nathaniel Atkinson, up from the right, slips in Liam Boyce, who centres for Sims on the stretch. But he hits the post and it bounces out. I could not believe my eyes. Genuinely devastated. Do you feel as though he can't really do any more? It seems as though the ball just evades him that little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because he's an absolute giant. Probably got the longest legs on the park.
He's not getting it. No one else is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I think it is. Listen, he tries his absolute best. He does everything he can, and it's so narrow. But listen, I say it all the time, and you see it a lot of people. There's 3 things you need to beat the Old Firm. One of them is you need to play exceptionally well. One of them is they need to play terribly. And the third one, and the most important one, is you need to get luck. And it wasn't for us at the weekend. Because if we have the luck...
I feel as though we got one of those.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think Rangers were all that great. It's just that we were absolute dog shit for 2 hours.
I think... Because I don't think we were as bad as everybody else thinks. I don't think we were good. But I think Rangers were quite good. I think from half-time onwards, they looked very good. They looked in complete control. From half-time onwards, there was one team winning that game.
I wouldn't even give it that. I'd probably say about 75, 80 onwards. I think they had a couple chances late on where they probably could and should nick it.
Yeah.
The save, obviously, from Rebo that will come to them hitting the bar. But in terms of the actual 90 on the whole, I don't feel as though it was until very late on that they really threatened us. I could be wrong. I could be wrong in saying that, but I didn't get that impression. I mean, if we go over the rest of the first half, you had Scott Arfield, shooting straight at Craig Gordon from a pullback after Diallo and Davis were linking up down the right. Ryan Kent had dragged one wide, but that was after one of the most bizarre sequences I've ever seen, where we take a free kick quickly. Craig Halkett gives it to Stephen Kingsley. It's a blooming hospital pass because he's instantly under pressure. He then forces it back to Halkett. Halkett just about lobs Craig Gordon, like going back to him. I was like, what on earth are you doing? I was thinking, is this some sort of sabotage?
Craig Halkett thinks he's the one joining Rangers.
I was like, what is the big man up to? Gordon's lucky in that he like scoops over Rebo's head and we somehow get like rid, but goodness me, I mean, my nerves were kicking in from that.
Yeah. I know this isn't really the time to mention them as neither of them were involved in this moment, but by this point, I was really, really aware of how bad Atkinson and Cochrane were playing. I know, as I say, neither of them were involved in this little moment, but we're a ways into the first half now. Everything they did was just there was a moment where Atkinson, it was like 20 minutes in, he just got a straight pass for shooting, the ball just went under his foot and went out of play.
Oh, I can recall it.
And it's like,
because I think
this
is
a bad sign. Yeah, it's like, this is a bad sign.
This is such a common theme where, like, we need absolutely everybody to be, at the top of their game. On it, up for it. You're right. Like, one failure or one piss poor performance in amongst the 11, chances are we don't win that game.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 100%. Everybody needs to be at the very top of their game for us to have a chance against the Old Firm. And sadly, like, 4 players had good games overall. Outfield.
One that really disappointed me is a player that I've, sang the praises of numerous times throughout this season, and that was Barry Mackay. Because there's a chance where Sims pulls one back to him and he just smashes over the bar. Like, it's sort of leaning back. Even I know that you're told, get your head over it and probably work the goalkeeper. And he does neither. And it sails high into the stands over the Union Bears behind the goal. And it's like, I felt as though that was Mackay's genuine only contribution.
Listen, this may sound harsh, right? Because I love him. I think he's been one of the best signings I can remember. Like, just generally. I don't mean this year. I don't mean this year.
I don't know where this is going. Go on.
This season has simultaneously proved how he is arguably the most important outfield player to a non-Old Firm side in this league, whilst simultaneously showing why he has failed in England. Because in the biggest games, he goes missing completely. He's very good against Livingston, Motherwell, Aberdeen, St Johnstone, all teams outside the big 3. Now, I know that in the top 6, bottom 6 derby the week before,
it's no wonder you'd never heard of him.
Yeah, exactly. Because all the big games I'm watching, he's never there. That game he did, I thought it was probably his best performance in a big game. Like, he got that really amazing assist for Halliday's second, and he just kind of was buzzing around in the 3-1 game. But barring that, I felt every other derby, he's not turned up. Every game against Celtic, he's not turned up. And every game against Rangers, he's not turned up. And the cup final was the embodiment of it. And listen, please, I know some people will take this out of context, being like, so Daniel hates Barry Mackay and thinks he's... No, I think he's one of our best players, and he is one of the key players for us next season in Europe. But hopefully he can look at the fact and go, Europe's a big game. I need to actually turn up in it, because as soon as you're so right, if he doesn't play well, he's like another player who I'm sure we'll get to. If he doesn't play well, we don't create anything. We're so limited without him.
That was a big thing for me as well, talking about the latter stages. You're turning to guys on the bench who we know aren't of that same caliber as Barry Mackay. They might offer different attributes elsewhere, but ultimately, if he's had an off day, do I really expect somebody, and again, this sounds harsh, that isn't as good as Barry Mackay to step forward in his absence? Probably not.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think that's harsh. I think that's just and again, we'll speak about this lots of times during this. What this exposed was the difference in an Old Firm squad to the rest of the league squad. Not starting 11s, but the actual squad you have at your disposal. It's light years of difference.
Yeah, because again, like we're alluding to there, or we touched on the fact that John Suter was different class. Rangers would have taken John Suter. Craig Gordon probably gets in the Rangers team. We could do this all day, but it is the squads. And we said this in the preview. Even when we were watching Rangers in Seville, there's players on their bench that I'm thinking, yeah, he'd do a job for us, or he could probably start for Hearts. But that's obviously not the case the other way. Again, I spoke about Calvin Bassey at length, but the Nigerians were beginning to link up. with Joe Rebo nodding wide from one of his deliveries. He then sends a fantastic ball, which is probably the chance of the first half for Rangers. Obviously, we had the Sims sitter, some might say. I think it's unfortunate. I think he's just unlucky, but some have described it as a sitter. But this really is a sitter from Amad Diallo, because Bassey sends in a superb delivery. He evades Cochrane at the back stick, and it just seems to hit the top of his head and bounce over the goal high and into the stand, where he probably connects with the forehead, and we're 1-0 down heading into half-time, aren't we, mate?
He's shite, isn't he?
He's not great.
He's so bad. Like, I know Man United are terrible now, but even he's not going to be a Manchester United
big dough for him too, mate. Was it not about 18 million or something they paid for him?
He's terrible. Like, he was good against
That sums
Ross
up Man
County.
United's recruitment, though, eh?
Yes, exactly. That was the thing, because obviously it's been very well known that my dad and brother are both Man United fans, and when the team was announced, I'll look to them and be like, see if you celebrate if he scores, you'll get your heat kicked in. But he was terrible. And on the flip side, yeah, what else can we say about Calvin Bassey? It's just, I saw somebody say this, and listen.
I'll tell you what I'll say. I can't wait till he buggers off.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
No thanks.
People will say this is hyperbole, but I think he's as good as Van Dijk when he was at Celtic. Like,
I get very much what you mean. Like, see when you watch him, and it's that imposing frame where you just
terrifying.
Like it's how young he is, but he looks like the men in Against Boys.
Yeah.
And
apparently, no one makes it worse.
He's a man mountain, mate.
No one makes it worse.
Go on.
He's apparently lovely.
Yeah.
He's apparently a really funny, nice guy. And it's like, oh, come on. You've got everything. Like, at least be a dick. And then
he must have something. He's not got like a squeaky voice or that, has he? There has to be something.
I've never heard him speak. So maybe he has quite a high-pitched voice. No, he'll have a lovely voice. He'll say, I can't wait until he leaves and all.
But yeah, we get to half-time, remarkably.
I will say, I was happy at half-time, right?
Yeah.
See, if you'd said to me before the game, you'll get into half-time 0-0, I would be like, perfect. And we had started well, in my opinion. First 20 minutes, I thought we were good.
Tailed off a little bit towards the end of that first half, but you'd have taken that.
100%. So I was like, right, we just need to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully another Sims chance comes and we takes it. And then there is a turning point in the second half that I think fucks us.
Let's just cut straight to that. Go on.
Boyce goes off. And that was it. Boyce coming off killed us. I saw a stat that after Boyce... I didn't
think Boyce had a great game, if I'm honest.
I thought he was the third best player in the park for us. I thought Suter was the best, and I thought Devlin did really well. Devlin, that first half, was exactly what you want Cammy Devlin to be. He's buzzing about, winning challenges, going into challenges that were potentially lost balls and trying to get something.
Not leave us a wee bit exposed sometimes, though, no?
No, I don't think so. I just think, and this is the thing, and this is rubbish analysis, but I think it's true. They're just a better team than us. So, like...
It's that insightfulness that's what
everybody's
after.
But the moment Boyce went off, it exposed once again how... I said Barry Mackay can be our most important player in the day in terms of creativity. There is no outfield player more important to us than Liam Boyce. Because when he went off, that was it. It was a sort of start where it was like, from when he went off, we had 21% possession after that. Like,
bloody hell.
We just, because there's no one to stick to.
21%.
It was something like that. I can't remember where I got that. So somebody might have proof that that's absolute bollocks. But I'll tell you what, it felt like that. It felt like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Sims, for all his positives, isn't the type of striker to hold it up. He's the guy to flick it on, to make a run in the channel and stuff like that. Boyce is that glue that holds everything together. He'll win it, he'll keep it tight, allow runners off him. Who came on for him? Andy fucking Halliday.
Can we talk about that, please? Because I was going to say about Liam Boyce, but Andy Halliday at right wing in a major cup final.
What is that?
The season is literally like, this is it with regards to our season. This has been the game that I've waited on since we beat Hibs in that league game at Tynecastle and then the Scottish Cup semi. And you play Andy Halliday at right wing.
It was just
Calvin
genuinely
Bassey was probably
baffling.
pissing his pants when he saw that Andy Halliday was coming on to play right wing. Play him in the middle of the park, by all means, but come on.
But even Halliday for Boyce as a sub, even if you're playing Halliday in his natural position,
that just screams
still
to me as though we
mental.
were setting up for 0-0.
Yeah.
Probably try and get through extra time and maybe take them on pens.
But like, listen, I am glad he's hopefully leaving, but why not? That's a time for Woodburn. Like, at least it's it's an attacking change. Like, it's a like for like. And listen, Boyce had to go off. He was out on his feet, and you could see it.
I mean, even then, he turned to Gary Mackay-Stephen and Josh Ginnelly later on in the game.
I'm done with him, by the way.
No, I know. I'm not. I'm not saying that they're the
answer. I know your
but,
point where you're like why is that
makes
being done that?
Yeah, that makes much more of a common sense sub.
Yeah. They were at least like for like.
Yeah. Offensive players that might actually. I'm not saying that they would, but they might drag us up the park.
Yeah, theoretically they're meant to.
I think it also shows how not dependent Ellis Sims is on Liam Boyce per se, but sort of the chemistry that they've got between the two of them.
They work best together.
Yeah, you're right with it. Like this, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? It really is.
And obviously, listen, there's nothing we can do to prevent Boyce. Boyce wasn't fit. It's been well documented in the last few days that if it wasn't a cup final, Boyce wouldn't have played. Halkett wouldn't have played, who's now gone under the knife to get surgery. Devlin probably wouldn't have played for as long as he did. And I really agree.
Made his first start in 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. None of them would have played if it was just a league game. But I really agreed with Craig Fowler's thread where we've obviously been quite negative here, and it's justifiable because for most of that game, we were really poor. But at the same time, it's like we were playing the Europa League finals team. A team that beat Dortmund, that beat Leipzig, that got through the groups, that had played like 50 games this season. And a lot of people were making things about, well, they were playing in Seville on Wednesday night. And
that's what I was going to say, though. Like, we were the ones that looked as though we'd played 50 games.
But the thing is, so we're saying there that Rangers have clearly a better team, clearly financially. That doesn't just stop at the squad.
First 11.
That extends to staff as well. So they will have the best sports scientists and fitness people marking and managing them to get them through games. So I totally understand why people will look at the kind of black and white facts of going, this team played set amount of days, this team played this set amount of days.
We all wanted them to go to extra time.
Yeah, of course. But I think that was just us as fans going, well, in our head, that makes sure that we have a better chance, when that isn't how football in 2022 works. Like, Rangers have been playing midweek and weekends all season.
And ultimately, we've got to have more in the final third and more in midfield to try and get us into offensive areas.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say it was backs to the wall, but it certainly felt as though we were just playing for pens.
I do get that mentality, though, because it was working up until a wonder goal, which, as Halkett said in the past couple of days, deflated the side. It just broke them.
But it depends what you define as it working, because like they passed up numerous good chances. I mean, if we talk about the last couple within the 90, it's only because Ryan Jack curls one high and wide. Later on in the match, he makes sure that he gets his laces through it, and that's what proves the difference. You had Joe Rebo being slipped in, where it's only because of a ridiculous save from Craig Gordon that Rangers don't nick it in the dying embers of the game. Same with Scott Wright hitting the bar. We were riding our luck. I'm not sure whether you could put that down to the game plan personally. Like, yes, it worked, but it only works if it's successful. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Absolutely. But I guess you could say that about any game plan.
No, I know.
You need luck.
And again, fortune's a big thing. And it just appeared as though all of this combined, we just didn't have. It is as simple as that.
Yeah.
In into extra time. Again, like what were you thinking? Because
I was
could
thinking,
not
I'll
believe.
take this.
I was thinking it's an absolute miracle that we're here.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking as well.
The opportunities that they passed up.
I was like, I will take this.
Had you offered me it?
Yeah.
No, of course. It just hurts. It really does. You know, when you're just like, again, it's like the whole method of loss. This is probably the second worst way to lose it.
I'd rather lose it in extra time than lose it in 90 minutes.
I'm not so sure. I'm thinking would Joe Aribo tucking that away have made that better? To lose it on a sole goal, maybe not.
No way. I would feel much worse if we lost it right at the death.
But again, like the quick fire double, the nature of the quick fire double, that sucker punch. It's like,
of course.
That's
but you then got half an hour to like accept it.
But, well, half an hour longer, right enough. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Right, let's speak about the goals because Nathaniel Atkinson's at fault for both of them.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, Joe Aribo nodded over before Rangers would take the lead. It's only after 94 minutes that Rangers take a corner. Craig Halkett heads clear, but it's only as far as Ryan Jack hovering on the edge of the area to smash one home. It actually looks as though it's through a sea of bodies, and I noticed Craig Gordon's
losing his mind at something, and I don't know why.
I was watching the Hearts TV highlights back. I think Laurie's spot on in his commentary. He's just chancing it because I don't see what he's calling for. I've watched it back numerous times, and Gordon sort of palms his hand as if to say there's a handball.
I think he's saying Gino handles it.
But again, it's like...
So pull it back so I've got a chance to save it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we'd rather gamble and take a 50-50 chance that they're going to score from a pen or that Gordon saves.
Well, yeah, if you were given the option, like, do you want to concede or give up a penalty?
The likelihood is that he'll score anyway.
Of course, but I get Gordon's point.
So, like, I don't get the argument. I don't get what he's after.
I don't get, because that's not how football works. Like, that's never going to be a thing, Craig. They're not going to go, oh, well, your player messed up, so we'll pull it back and take away a Rangers thing. But that's not how it works.
Rather than just rob them of the goal, give them a 50% chance of scoring.
We'd love
against you.
That would be amazing for us. But for them, it makes no sense.
Imagine the seethe had Gordon saved the penalty after that. Could you imagine? Oh my God. They'd have been rightly raging.
I want to clarify. The reason, I think this is the goal that is kind of lesser at fault of Atkinson. The reason I think that is because...
I think that's harsh, no?
I'm probably just I was fucking fuming with Atkinson after the game.
So was my pal Ross that was stood with as well.
More than anybody, I was more annoyed with him.
He turned to me after about 20 minutes and said, he is going to be our downfall today.
Yeah, I think I said the same thing, to be honest. I think I said the exact same thing. The reason because the corner comes from him messing up. Because the ball is coming towards him, and he goes to take a step and slips and the ball goes through him. But it's like he didn't need to take the step. The ball could have just come to him and been able to do it, but he takes a step forward to try and like get involved, slips, and it allows Rangers to come in, and then ensuing block goes out for a corner, which then leads to Ryan Jacks.
I genuinely can't even remember that. I don't know if it's just a dark cloud of depression hit me at this point. And I was just like, oh.
Well, the second goal,
don't know how that's happened.
Definitely blame him for.
The second goal, well, this is what I was going to come to. Like, even at 1-0, I know what you're saying, and I know that we hadn't showed any attacking intent for a long, if not all of that game. Long stages, but if not all of that game. But there's always a chance. I say it all the time. At 1-0, we're still in it. It's only then, a few minutes later, when they go up and make it 2, that we're not. Look, Atkinson loses possession. I want to say on the edge of the Rangers box, but I don't think he's that far up. He's certainly high. He's high up the park.
Do you know what he does? Do you know what he does? He does the thing that away a few months ago I pointed out after the Rangers game at Tynecastle, 2-1, that we'd have to worry about that and that he needs to quickly get rid of that. It is the taking it down the byline and cutting in instead of putting a ball in. He did it against Celtic at home for Hatate's goal, where he was in our half, and instead of playing a ball up the line, he cut into the middle of the park, doing it.
And he tried to push it out to Boyce, I think it was.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. He's then done it in almost every single game since. Sometimes it's caught him out, other times it's been fine, and we've managed to move on. But that was the most egregious work of it, and that says to me that he's not learning. Like, you should be in that Celtic game, you should go, that was I fucked up there. Apologies, right? I kind of need to be aware of that. But he's done it so many times. And I don't know if it's that he got confidence from it working a couple of times. It's never worked to us doing anything. It's just that he hasn't lost the ball. That's what he classifies as it working. Like, he's managed to then get a pass out.
And yet I'm actually thinking earlier in this very competition, the one time that I can recall him getting down the line and crossing for us to score.
We scored.
Yeah.
No, twice. He did it twice.
A bit of fortune. Oh, yeah. Did he supply for Sims as well in that St Mirren game?
No, Cochrane against Talbot. He rides forward, gets into the box and fires it across. So he's got a 100% record.
Well, hold on a second, because after that performance against Talbot, everyone was adamant that it was the second coming of Cafu.
I didn't. I was saying that I was worried about him positionally even then.
You know, I don't get carried away often. It wasn't me then. I've been guilty of it numerous times, but not me then.
I've made it clear that over the last few weeks and months, Atkinson has, in my eyes, improved. And as I've said to back him up, he wasn't expecting to play these amount of games. The Smith injury has happened. But still, it's not like he's 18. It's not like he's
got some appearances under the belt.
Yeah. Like, this is now getting the stage where it's like, you need to step up. And because we are in cup finals. Like, we're going to be playing in Europe next season in group stage football. But my overall thing is no one can tell me Smith would have done worse in his position.
All I'm going to say is I've seen Ryan McGowan like some of our tweets, some of our Instagram posts. Take him under your wing, Dowser. Play the whole compatriot card, the same position, all that jazz, and just, allow him to tighten up defensively.
I still love him, right? He's got a class song, but
the song is incredible.
Come on, Natty.
And you love his dogs. You were a big fan of his
dogs. His dogs are the best part about him, right? His dogs are outstanding and I love them. But come on, you cost us there.
And he cost us there because Ryan Kent breaks away. It's a 3-on-2 for Rangers in their favour. The Englishman slips in Scott Wright and he slams past Craig Gordon.
It's a bad ball for him.
Cool finish. Yeah, Scott Wright does really
very well.
Yeah, he does. Great finish. That kills the contest. 2-0. And the game's over in a matter of minutes, McIver. The annoying thing for me was we're looking for that quick fire response. There was absolutely nothing that came of it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and there's nothing else to speak about, really, about the game. But we've obviously been very negative there. My immediate reaction was, listen, that wasn't very good. We'd have much rather it went another way. However, and I feel like some people did let it overshadow what has been a fantastic season, easily one of the best in my lifetime. And that's what I chose to focus on. Yeah, we couldn't get it over the line. Nielsen made the point where it was like, their subs come on and win them the game. Our subs come on and do nothing. Like, that's the difference. And that's where we're trying to get to. I don't think we ever will, because I don't think we can ever compete with the old firm. Logically, it makes no sense. But having that attitude of wanting to is class. And it's why we've been so good this year.
Oh, that's a lovely little spin. I was going to say I'm one of these gullible bastards that believes that we might, with a bit of luck, a good decade of luck.
No, it's not happening.
You never know. Ever the optimist, mate. Come on, keep the faith. I say it every week.
No, there's a difference. I fully understand going like keep the faith. We could win a one-off game against them, but not a 38-game league season. Can we do anything with them?
No, my keep the faith for that one time that we'll all strike lucky and Hearts will win the Scottish treble and then we'll be competing in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Aye, yeah, definitely. Unless we get another 12 Romanovs turn up at once.
The Lithuanian mafia seized control of Hearts.
Exactly.
Just like the good old days.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Where even then, we only finished second. We didn't even win the league.
I know. Why did I opt to wear this top today?
I don't know.
Commemorating that season, man. Oh, sensational. But I thought that we might take the time out to interact with some listeners. Obviously, this won't be the last episode of this season. We'll go that little bit, dig that little deep further. I think next week you're wanting to, aren't you? So
yes,
I can't be asked for that. Maybe we'll need to get a guest on, but we'll see. But I tweeted before we came on today to record and said, the boys are back this evening to talk about Saturday. Any thoughts you want to give that could be included in the show? So thank you very much, everybody that got in touch. Let's get Richard Cobb's comment out of the way first and foremost. He just responded with the emoji with a hand up in the air.
He's still raging that he couldn't take over the Instagram.
We would have been cancelled. I don't fancy this cancel culture, so let's move on. Alan Meikle agreed with you and says, contain them, then needed to roll the dice, turn to the bench, didn't have a dice. A tale of what ifs and maybes, but the better team won. If we keep getting back to finals, we won't lose them all. So yeah, he's actually in agreement with you and simultaneously sort of on the same bandwagon as me, where like every dog has its day. Law of averages says...
No, I believe we can win a cup final. Yeah, just not do anything in the league. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But I fully agree with that. I think it was a tale of like two benches and two squads.
Squad strength. That's what it's down to, isn't it?
Exactly.
Graham's got in touch and says, it's been a great season and looking forward to seeing what players we bring in and European football. I did feel we were far too passive on Saturday and didn't do anything near enough to hurt Rangers. And we need to show far more belief against the Glasgow teams next season. What's your thoughts with regards to that, McIver?
I disagree slightly in the... I don't put stock into the belief and attitude thing, right?
It's not as though players go out to play badly.
Exactly. And I know that's not what Graham's suggesting, but there is an aspect of, what, like, to you, what does have a go mean?
I hate this question. This is the thing, because this is what I was sort of wanting to get into as well. I think I'm probably more optimistic or more quietly optimistic when playing either of the top two at Tynecastle, because there's a part of me that thinks we are fully capable of getting a result, whether that's just, blind stupidity or whatever. I don't know. But to me, like, Saturday I just don't. It's almost like, and this might seem over dramatic. It's almost like it's wiped out everything in the prior rounds. Because
I think that's over dramatic.
Because we've not gone on to do anything. Like, I think this squad, they're capable of causing Rangers problems, but we didn't see that on Saturday.
I think we did for 20 minutes. I think we did for that opening 20 minutes. I think
we did. We hit the post and that was about it.
Yeah, but there's a difference in creating like loads of chances, because as you say, you didn't feel Rangers did that, but you felt Rangers overall with a better side.
I thought it was a poor game, if I'm honest.
It wasn't a good game.
It was a very cagey final. And again, like we've said, them playing in Europe, it's a big factor. But I don't feel as though we did anything to go out and try and win the game, if I'm honest, other than that Sims chance.
See, I disagree, because I just think, again, it's very simple, but it's like, if that Sims chance goes in, the whole game changes.
I hear that. I hear that. And again, it's fine lines, isn't it?
Exactly. And a lot of people are obviously making comparisons to 98. Like, do you think we'd have won that 98 Cup final if Loudrop doesn't hit the post and it goes in? I don't think we do. I think they come back and...
Jim Jeffries spoke to me about it and said that George Alberts, I think, was suspended. So they were like, again, it's these...
We get a very soft penalty. We get an insanely soft penalty in the first minute of that game.
And I'm not being funny. Like, had Rangers' chances like passed on to Alfredo Morelos, he probably doesn't pass up a few. Like, he missed a sitter in the 1-each at Ibrox earlier on in the season.
Yeah, he did. He missed a
couple, and it came back to bite them that day. Yeah. But his record against Hearts is phenomenal.
But that's the thing. I think, and I totally understand it as fans, we, out of every group associated with football, and by that I mean like management, pundits, players, fans, etc., fans often simplify it the most, which I think can benefit a lot because it means that you're just like, if a player tries, you're like, I love you. Like Devlin has enamored himself to the Heart support by just like trying really hard and being
That's why
tough
you
tackling.
love him.
Yeah. But on the flip side, I think critically, fans can simplify it a bit too much as well, where we look at that game and go, oh, well, we didn't even try and win. It's like, I think it's more in depth than that. Like, I think it's, you look at, Robbie played, in terms of personnel, is there anybody that could have really argued about any of the players who played? You can argue about where they physically played, but in terms of the players,
I think it's maybe a Smith for Atkinson.
Yeah,
the only
that's
real one
it's
that
like,
I could think of, and obviously if Benny's
of course, if Benny's back,
fit, then
then
he
yeah.
plays.
But Nielsen played the best team that we have at our disposal currently, and a team that was struggling with fitness, and we came up against a squad worth like 50 million quid.
Can I just say, this hasn't popped up on here, but it's just made me think, what were your thoughts to John Souttar's leaving message? Because again, this is irritated Hearts fans, where it's like, what was it? Thanks for everything at Heart and Midlothian. I don't know what more he can say.
Do you know what he did?
It must be such an awkward situation. And by the way, I just want to say to John Souttar, not that he listens to this, but the odd chance that he might see it, that he was phenomenal on Saturday. He will not look out of place in that Rangers team for me.
Well, that's
I
what
thought
I
he was
want to
head
say.
and shoulders our best player on the park.
Easily.
He did everything he could to try and win it for us. And ultimately, had he been joined by other more competent teammates, we could have gone on to win that. But look, it's a shit situation for him that the final was the teams that it was. And it's not like we'd have said that the conspiracy theorists would have been out like with their torches. There's absolutely no doubt that he gave his all for Hearts in that final, just as he has ever since the whole announcement came out.
Yep.
So, Soapy, it's a massive thanks for your service from me. And I wish you personally all the very best.
Definitely. A lot of people read into that message, like a lot of folk were like comparing it with the Ellis Sims one where he did like a wee paragraph, and it was
because
like,
I was annoyed when it came out about Souttar, but like it's a short career.
He's an employee of a company who has moved to another company. I'd rather he didn't move to said company.
Yeah.
But I totally, as a human level, I totally understand it. And listen, people are going, how's that for a farewell? Like, for God's sake, after all we've done for you. Two things on that. One, we did what any club would do for a player. That's not anything we should be commended for, that we helped an injured player for us.
Because otherwise we'd have been criticised for shoving him out the door.
Yeah, we would have been breach of contract if we just went, oh no, actually, you got a long-term injury. That's it, you're away. Well, why don't we do that with Benny then? Like, Benny's out until February. So why aren't we doing that for him? Because we're a club. You
see it so often with clubs that they're that quick to get players out the door. Like Hearts aren't going to look after John Souttar now that he's away, and they wouldn't have if John Souttar had stayed for the rest of his career.
Yeah, exactly. It's a ridiculous argument.
Gary Locke's the only exception, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Played the wee ambassadorial role and had a wee time in the dugout.
He's loving life. But secondly, his farewell message was that performance, was putting in a man of the match level performance like he has done most times he's been on the park. There was a dip during the season, and I have made it very clear, I don't think he's been even in our top two defenders this season. I think Halkett and Kingsley have both been above him in terms of when looking at the season as a whole and the importance to this side. I think Halkett and Kingsley have both outperformed them. That doesn't mean I think they are better footballers than John Souttar. I think it's clear that John Souttar is a better footballer, and what his sign-off and what his farewell was keeping that game to 2-0 instead of 4 or 5-0, like it would have been if he wasn't playing. So I don't understand the people who are really critical of, and it's the same thing when folk give shit to Halliday for speaking about Rangers and that. It means nothing. It doesn't affect anything at all. It's just folk trying to have an argument about something.
End of the day, had we put in a better delivery in our 1 second half chance in the 88th minute from a corner and he goes and heads it home, he would deservedly win man of the match, or if one of his teammates had headed it home.
Yeah.
Because he'd have won the cup, he'd have claimed probably the man of the match award because, like I say, by far and away our best player, and that would have been perfect departing gift.
Yep.
It hasn't worked out like that, but we don't need to, bash him, given that we've had some great times when John Suter's been in our defence.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for another day. If I go back to Twitter, I mean, Peter Ingroya said, I think a discussion about how we can't look past the fact that while we finished third comfortably, we also have to understand that the rest of the teams in the league had horrendous seasons, and we're going to have to prepare for much more competition after the summer. To be fair, that's maybe not for a discussion about Saturday, though.
Well, I want to briefly touch it because
I've been arguing the point that it's a terrible league, so you carry on.
This will be more next week because we're going to do a season review and then we'll be speaking about that. But I do want to touch on it slightly. That all I'll say is, I understand the complaints, well, not the complaints, just the statements that the league hasn't been as good this year. If it was more competitive, who knows where we would have finished. People like to do that when it's negative things. So, for example, when people go, "Oh, well, what if Sims scored?" and it goes, "It doesn't matter how that's if, buts, and maybes. It doesn't matter." But then when you go,
he hasn't. So,
so it doesn't matter then. But then when you go, well, we have finished third. Then people like to go, "Oh, well, what if the league was better?" Well, the league wasn't better, and we beat more teams more often than we lost. Like the league might have been bad, but we've been very good as well.
You see this argument, and it goes back to the John Suter thing. Had players' careers gone slightly differently, would they be better or worse?
Yeah.
It's like they might have been better, but they might have been worse. But we don't know because what's happened has happened.
Yeah, how do you know even if Hibs, Aberdeen, Motherwell were all really good, how do you know we still wouldn't have beaten them every time we played them would have still been third, clearly?
It's all theory. Look,
I get it as a point, and I want to go more in depth into it next week, so I really do appreciate the question. But
oh Christ, I'll have to do my research then.
Oh, I've got
because I've been bashing this drum all year, just saying that they're
I've got notes
average,
and everything.
But no.
I've got notes and everything. But I do think some people have tended to use it to kind of beat Robbie with. You know, well, you're not actually that good. It's just that the league's shite.
Yeah. I mean,
I disagree with.
I mean, I'm not a big Robbie Nielsen fan, and I can argue that, but I'm not Nielsen out because of
some folk won after Saturday, and I couldn't believe it.
That's just, and no, it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't. No,
I was disappointed with the performance, but we're not ripping it all up now.
Yeah.
It's more of the championship campaign. Look, again, this is for another time. Relax, guys.
Yeah,
it's fine. End of the season. We'll all go away on holiday. We'll all have a great time, and we're back in Europe. So
right. Speaking about that, I want to speak about transfer targets.
All right. Well, I was going to say Becky Davies asked on Twitter, who should we be looking at signing in the summer? So it's all part of a plan. This.
Brilliant. Right. So I've made how many names? I've got 7 names.
Well, again, I'm going to tie that in with Stuart Morrison says realistic transfers. So how many have said 7 are realistic?
Potentially 6 out of the 7.
Oh, nice.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll let you and the listeners decide.
We'll come back to the other Twitter questions after you give us said 7. The magic 7, the magnificent 7.
Yes, exactly. Out of the 7, 2 of them are current players on loan at us.
Right.
So the first one is the one that is probably the least most likely to not happen is Ellis Sims. So I think every Hearts fan wants Sims back for another year. I don't think you'll find a Hearts fan who doesn't want him back. I don't think it's happening. I've said this for a few weeks. I saw that
tweet and it just broke my heart.
Yeah, exactly. You saw his tweet.
But we did see the comment that Toby Simic left.
But he's clearly just being funny. That's all that's happening.
I don't know.
No, that's all. Toby Simic's just being funny.
And that actually, can we speak about Toby Simic? Because I met the people, his mates that had been given tickets by him on Saturday. Lovely people. Very nice. They were fantastic. Shared the train in with me. Great guys, lovely gals, very nice people. So yeah.
Well done, Toby. You've got a good taste in
Well done, Toby. You've got a good taste in friends.
But yeah, I don't think Sims is coming back.
If you're joking about Sims coming back, you're a mug.
Yes,
and I'll farm you out down south. See you later.
Don't put a hopes up.
Don't be a Groningen.
Yes, exactly. But I don't think he's coming. But I put him in the list because I want to. Second one is, and listen, it probably isn't going to be popular with a lot of people, especially after Saturday. I want us to sign Alex Cochrane permanently.
I'm not against. I like Wee Cochrane. I think for the most part he's been very, very good. A shrewd signing when that was first made.
Definitely. And this kind of applies to quite a few people in this list. We're going to need a bigger squad because we're going into Europe. So we can't.
Honestly, I'm sick of hearing this. I just want to see the arrivals coming.
But I know that a lot of Hearts fans for years we've been conditioned to just having a good 11 and shit behind it. Like we've been like, oh yeah, we've got decent.
Saturday
11.
is the proof.
Yeah.
We need a squad.
Exactly. So some players won't blow you away, but they're good squad depth options. And I think
this is why like everybody turning their nose up at Alan Forrest and Lauren Shankland. They're mental.
Number 3 on my list, Alan Forrest.
That's a surprise.
So
yeah, we'd take though.
Obviously, we've been linked with him extensively. Apparently, he's kind of debating whether to join us or Dundee United, it seems.
Grow up, Alan.
But he's going to get a lot more money at Dundee United, probably, because the way they do wages is insane.
Love throwing dough at it. In fact, Mark Ogren's just there making it rain and snow.
It's mental. But probably most likely is, I know a lot of people go, well, European football, Alan, you're never going to get this in your career. But he's probably going to be a starter at Dundee United, where he won't be a starter at us.
And they might navigate their way through the conference.
Yeah, exactly. He could be playing in Europe.
We don't know.
As well. Definitely. His apparent replacement, however, if we don't sign him, is another person on my list, Connor Ronan. I would love to sign Ronan. It would mean we have to buy him.
Different players as well, though.
Yes, of course.
Has he still got another year at Wolves?
Another 2 years.
Christ.
He signed an extension last year. So it's until 2024.
You're doing that.
I know exactly. The rumour is they want around like just over $250,000 for him or something like that.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's really not bad.
That's
and I think for a guy who's proven in the league as well, it's not even that big of a risk.
We certainly saw his exploits at Tynecastle.
Exactly. 100%.
Ridiculous.
And I have been assured by St Mirren fans, he doesn't just score rakers. Like, he is also a good player generally.
That's a bonus.
Yeah. Next one is
one that... are interested in Ronan as well.
Yes, yeah, they are.
And Aberdeen with Big Jimbo, but Jimbo you can do.
Surely he's not going to go. Again, it might be a money thing. And I don't know.
And back with a gaffer.
The next one is one that you are a big fan of. I know that. You've spoken about him extensively on Twitter. Is Dylan Tate.
Dylan Levitt.
And Dylan Tate. Dylan Tate I want as well, who plays for Morecambe.
Dylan Tate not at Hibs?
No, it's a different Dylan Tate.
And different Dylan Tate, right, okay.
But he's like a young guy coming through who I think looks quite good in the middle of the park. But also Dylan Levitt is also on my list.
Push the boat out. I want Dylan Levitt.
Is he out of a contract with United?
I think he is.
Well, then we don't even need to push the boat out that much.
Welsh international, on a free, 21 years of age.
I think he'd be great. He'd be very good in the middle of the park.
It's surely a no-brainer.
And then, because I don't think we're going to get Sims, and I think we need to buy, like, I've seen varying opinions from we need to buy 1 striker to we need to buy 4 strikers.
Can I just say, like, we were talking about pre-contracts when we were back in the Championship. I highlighted Ross Stewart, and there I was, seeing him at the weekend, firing Sunderland to the Championship and back in the Scotland squad. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
no.
But he is at League One level now.
But
he
again,
didn't do great at Ross County's last season.
And again, you know, like I've alluded to, there's no guarantee that he comes on here and sets the header.
We have plenty of experience of taking strikers in form and them being a horrific.
Probably more so than anybody else in Scotland. Yeah.
Well, speaking about strikers, I think we need to sign 2. I think 2, including Boyce.
I'm worried because you don't like Shankland, so I'm worried.
Shankland is not part of my list.
I know he's not.
He's not
I know who one of them is because I saw you take to Twitter.
So
some ridiculous wage demands for Andrew Carroll.
One of them is a young Scottish player. Who's a striker and has made headlines in recent weeks for his exploits down south. I would like us to sign Elliot Anderson.
Oh, is he not a midfielder? No,
he's a centre. He's a Firmino. Like, he can play deeper, he can play the false nine, whatever.
He'll be anything but Bobby Firmino, us. But yeah,
yes.
good take.
Elliot Anderson,
I like him.
Young Scottish striker, Newcastle. Obviously, he's done well at League Two. He's not quite ready to make the jump up yet. I think a season loan with us in the Sims mould of like get a Premiership striker in to try and get him more game time.
Even if it's predominantly league games rather than throwing him in Europe. Yeah, okay.
I think that would be good. And then lastly, it's Andy Carroll because it has to happen.
Not going to happen, though.
It has to, though. It has to.
No, it doesn't.
I need Andy Carroll to play for both my teams in my life. He's younger than everybody thinks. How old do you think he is?
33. He's
32.
Oh, close.
I saw some people be like, he's Stephen Fletcher's age. No, he's not. He's not. He's not Upley Marshall or Gordon or anything like that. He's Michael Smith's age.
Oh, to be fair, he broke through at Newcastle when he was young, though.
Yes, he was a very young man. Listen.
Jesus.
I'd take him. Just for a laugh. No. I'd take him even if he was shit, just because I want to say Andy Carroll's played for Hearts. I know this isn't the best scouting mechanism.
I genuinely feel like we'd have more chance of signing Sims for another year's loan than Andy Carroll.
Probably, because apparently he's wanting 20 grand a week. But I say give him it. Right? He can come in and be like double everybody else. He'll play 4 games, then get hurt.
This must be like my Football Manager 2010 save where he won World Player of the Year whilst at Hearts for me.
Exactly.
But no, funnily enough, we're in 2022.
And he'd win World Player of the Year when he came to us now. He's 32. I'm so on board. Even just so, everybody else will hate it. It'll be terrible. It'll be hurt for 90% of the time. But I'll get to say I've seen Andy Carroll play for Hearts, and that's all I want. Even sign him for a 1 game. Pay as you play him, we play him once.
Yes, because a club that are renowned with, players remaining injury-free would definitely take a chance on Andy Carroll on 20 bags a week.
I'm on board.
Oh, my God. Joe Savage, Barry Mackay and all that, you come to me.
Listen.
Andy Carroll, and to run the club into the ground, you go to him.
Listen, we've been too well run for the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, it's gone too smoothly.
Yeah, I miss the old days where we just fucking buy David Vitavid and just go, sure, let's see what he does. And he does nothing.
That just sums up Hearts fans. There we are, begging for defeats at home to Wraith Rovers and Queen of the South again.
Yep, I miss the days. What's this? Comfortably finishing third and getting to finals in Europe. No, I miss the Bampot days.
This winning most weeks is shite.
So boring. It's boring. I want to be a yo-yo club once again, and Andy Carroll can take us there.
Oh, good grief. You need to get this out of your head. Right, let's get to the other tweets. Ralph Smith simply asks, Adam, are you okay? No, Ralph. No. I'm absolutely not.
Sorry. I have an update from last week about something that we mentioned from a listener.
Go on.
Do you remember last week?
Malarkey?
Yeah. Ian emailed us back. He got to the game.
Oh, excellent. That is good.
I was very jealous. His son played at St James's Park the day before, on the pitch. So that's.
Who did his boy play for?
I don't know. It was like, I can't remember. I've not got the email in front of me. I'm very sorry. It was like his school or his boys' team were asked to play on St James's Park. So he got to do that. And his dad came down and went, we've actually got, or like his mate phoned him and was like, can you get to Hampden tomorrow morning? I've got your tickets. So he drove all the way up. He met Stephen Presley. He met Jim Jeffries. He saw Ewan Henderson. We got beat and he spent loads of money on petrol and that, but he got there. So Ian, I'm delighted for you.
No, well, that makes 2 of us. That's good.
Definitely. Sorry, I just remembered that now and wanted to get that into the show.
That's all right. Ian Horsburgh said, felt like another opportunity missed. Rangers are a strong side, but I was hopeful it would cause them more problems. Need to be in peak condition and play to highest level to win against the Old Firm. We didn't do that on Saturday. More disappointed rather than critical. On to next season, what positions need strengthening? How will we cope with the increased number of matches? Could it potentially affect domestic form? What is a realistic target for next season?
Andy Carroll is what we need.
What positions do need strengthening? Because we're going to need a centre-half to replace John Suter.
I think we need a centre-half, 2 full-backs, 2 wide players,
a left-back and a right-back.
Left-back and a right-back, if we don't send Cochrane.
Who are wing-backs as well.
Backup goalkeeper, which should be top of the list.
Without a doubt.
2 wide players at least.
I'd argue it's 3.
Yeah, a minimum of 2.
Minimum of 2, yeah. Okay.
And then we need strikers as well. And another creative player. So we just need another 11, basically. But in fairness, for going into Europe, we probably do need another 11.
Yeah, it's not far stretch. Again, some of it are like transfers, Europe. Daryl Shepherd just simply says Peter Haring.
I'm trying not to think about it because I'm getting worried.
Yeah.
I'm getting worried.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Not neither. I cannot wait until we release this at 5 and 4 hours previously he got announced.
I'd love for, if Big Pete is to depart, us to push that money toward Dylan Levitt. Do it, Hearts.
I'd rather have Peter Haring.
I'm not sure. Robert Gill says the team gave their all and were beaten by a better team. Most of their players were dead on their feet at the end. Gino and GMS aren't good enough to change a game. About 8 players needed for next season.
I mean, we have just said about 8, so maybe he's right. I agree with the Gino and GMS thing. I would like them sold.
Can't dispute that. And finally, we've got two quite funny tweets, which were, why were they so gutless? And yes, why the fuck are there seats in Hampden? No fucker sits down. That's from G and Mickey Tate, respectively.
Yeah, that was a fair point.
And finally, Craig McDonald says, the ref and why didn't book Tavernier for the fouls, or Bassey/Rebo, can't remember which for diving. We've pretty much covered that as well.
Thank you, everybody. It's always good that when we get other people's views and talking points as well.
Without a doubt, because you don't want to just listen to us two numpties every week. We know that. That's why we try and get the odd guest on. Spice things up. Spice is a variety of life, team. And that's what we look to do on a weekly basis. However, before we wrap up for this week, we're teaming up with our friends over at Goal Frame Prints to give away these smashing pieces. I'm just going to hold them up here, showcasing the semi-final heroes and their goals. So we've got Ellis Sims and Stephen Kingsley. So we're going to give you the chance to win either the Sims or the Kingsley print. And it's pretty simple. All you've got to do is, first of all, make sure that you're watching on YouTube. So if you're listening through Spotify, Apple, wherever else you get your podcasts, audio only, head on over to the YouTube channel and tune into this very episode. Secondly, we want you to click that subscribe button. It's entirely free. You won't miss a further episode if you do so. And thirdly, this is the most important bit. We want you to leave a comment with your rating for Hearts' season. So the 2021-22 season, give us a rating out of 10 with sufficient reasoning. We're going to look over them all. We're going to choose our favourites and with the sufficient reasoning and let us know which print you'd like to win. So just simply chuck Sims or Kingsley at the end and we'll know that you want to either win the Sims or Kingsley print. And we'll choose ahead of next week's episode and we'll give them away, maybe announce that on next week's episode. So tune in and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and don't miss it.
Definitely. So yeah, you've got until kind of 5 o'clock on the 31st of May, which is that evening we'll be doing our next recording. So this is out on the 25th at 5 p.m. So you've got 6-ish days. So just a rating, why you'd give that rating, and either Sims or Kingsley, and you could be in with a chance of winning. But yeah,
they're absolutely smashing. So even if you don't, make sure you head on over and check Lewis, aka Goalframe Prints out. We'll shove all these links and the necessary in descriptions and on social media. 100%.
So, massive thank you to everyone who has tuned in for this bumper episode where we just go, we got beat. That isn't very good, is it? But we will be back next week where we're going to do, as Adam said, 2021-22 season review, where we just kind of look at the whole season. I'm going to go back and listen to where we predicted everybody to finish and see how that stacks up to the final league table.
I'm already dreading looking at mine.
Yeah, and who we thought was going to hit the ground running, be really good, who did we think was going to be a surprise, etc., etc. So we hope you all join us for that next week. But hope you have enjoyed this week's episode. If you have, First of all, as Adam said, remember and enter that competition by going over the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, and comment. It really, really does help us. Also, if you've just been listening to us, again, go over the YouTube for this episode. But generally, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. It, again, hugely, hugely helps us. And this season has just been incredible with the amount of support, which we will speak more about next week. Definitely. You can get us on all the social media at Perth to Paisley. You can also chuck us an email, perthtopaisley@gmail.com. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
They can get me on all the socials at Adam T. Kendall. And what about yourself, mate?
I am at DMcIver22. As I say, we'll be back next week to do the full season review. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Keep the faith. Mon the JTs!